Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel eddieinreadingland. My name is Eddie and today I'm going to talk about daily draws, establishing a habit. Okay guys, so I recently watched a video by Racine, our well-beloved fabulous witch, tarot mentor and guide. And she was talking about her practice with daily draws, and she spoke a little about how she experienced daily draws for herself. And being someone who has practiced daily draws for years now, since I started practicing with tarot, I wanted to share some helpful tips and maybe a guide for people who are in need to establish a daily practice or a more thorough and more continuous practice with tarot and using daily draws. So to start, I wanted to let you guys know how I started with the habit. Creating habits takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it also takes a commitment. I know this because when I started doing daily draws, I definitely did not have the practice that I have now with daily draws. Today with daily draws, I'm able not only to draw a card, but also write about the card, ruminate, and try to make sense of what the message is the card is telling me and write it down. Really meditate with it so that I can move on with my day, and also so that it can allow me to move forward in my day and also in my practice of tarot. I take it very seriously. I wake up very, very early in the morning. I've mentioned this before. You guys don't have to do that. But starting with my practice back maybe 15 or more years ago when I started doing daily draws, what I actually started doing was just using a deck, and actually I was using the Shadowscapes Tarot by Stephanie Puy-Munla, but today for illustration purposes I actually have the Mystical Manga Tarot by Ran, yes. The text of the book was actually written by Barbara Moore. I just want to give credit to all of the people who were involved in the tarot. But looking back, what I started doing was just pulling a card every day at any point in the day that I felt like I had time for it. I didn't really need a very long time to pull that card. I just needed seconds or a minute or two during my day. Sometimes it was in the morning, sometimes it was in the afternoon, sometimes it was before I went to bed. And how I started doing it was just not even thinking of a question, just shuffling the cards. Back then I used to riffle shuffle my decks. I actually still riffle shuffle my decks a lot, but I am trying not to do that right now because I have a lot of decks that are very high in the price range, and some of them are also out of print. And I'm really trying to take better care of my decks so that I'm able to use them in my practice, because the thing is that I do use all of my decks, and I do read for others as well, and I just want them to, as much as I can, I want the decks to remain as pristine as possible, which it doesn't happen. And that is one of the reasons why when I'm reading for others, I use mass market decks, because they're easily replaceable. But I digress. Going back to daily practice. So let's say that I just want to give you guys an example of how I would take some time in my day so that I would take a card. So I would shuffle my deck, and then I would just get the first card from from the top of the deck. In this case, we got the 9 of coins. Let me see if I can bring that up. Or maybe, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the little camera over here. Let's see. That's a lot easier. Thank you, technology! Because it's making my life a lot easier. There we go, guys. Okay, so here we have the 9 of Pentacles. Let's say that I pull this card in the morning. I would just look at the card and feel what the card was trying to tell me. At this point in time, I did have I had read books before on tarot, and so I knew at least various keywords with the cards, and so I was able to relate it better to the meaning. But what I actually what better established my habit with the tarot was just looking at the card, looking at the image, and getting a feel for it. Just not even trying to think about what the card may mean for you at this point in time. Just getting a feel of it. I see a woman who is surrounded by a lot of bounty. There's a lot of fruit around her. There's a brilliant sun that's coming out of her garden, and it's making her glow. And not only her as a person, but all the work that she's put in, and also making other beings glow, like this little bird over here. So it's all about contemplation of the card, not trying to figure out what the card means for you. Remember, we're trying to establish a habit. We just want to get into the habit of pulling cards. So that being said, my first tip will be get a Rider-Waite-Smith base deck. You guys can get the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but any deck that's Rider-Waite-Smith or that has scenes on it will be better for this practice for various reasons. Number one, most of the books out there, if some of us are not familiar with tarot, are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So if after contemplating the card, after looking at the card and just getting a feel for it, you guys want to take it a step further and get a keyword or a better understanding of the card, and you want to use a book like, for example, Tarot 1-on-1 by Kim Huggins. This is a really great book, guys. I like it very much. Also, another one, it's 78 Degrees of Wisdom by, is it Barbara Moore? I believe it's Barbara Moore. Anyway, I'll have it in the link below. I don't know where my copy is. It's probably in one of the boxes from the move that we haven't been through. But that is just extra that you guys can do if you want to do that. The reason why, for the first step, in my experience, to be just contemplation and just having a feeling of the card, it's because it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you're actually working with the tarot. That's also developing your intuition. It's also developing your ability to interpret the cards and taking the time to interpret the cards with just the image. Very clearly, if you guys have previous knowledge of tarot and you want to establish a habit, then yes, by all means, try and get a meaning or a message from the card at the time that you're pulling that card. For example, if I was getting this card in the morning, the 9 of Pentacles, I would probably think about what the 9 of Pentacles means to me and how I'm able to carry that out throughout the day. So, to me, this is the card of security and plenitude and enjoying yourself, enjoying what you have, enjoying what you have around you. So, within my daily draw practice, if I'm only contemplating on this meaning, I would probably think to myself, well, it seems that today I'm going to have a day where I'm going to enjoy the things that I like. I'm going to enjoy the things that I have acquired for myself, and I'm probably going to put them into practice. That's it. That is all the rumination and all of the practice that you will do throughout the day with this card. I want to take another card. So let's say we're in the middle of the afternoon, and I get the chance to draw a card. So again, I shuffle the deck. If you guys want to riffle shuffle the deck, please, you do what you need to do with your decks, and then pull up the first card from the top of the deck. We have the Seven of Swords. So, usually with this card, I always think about things that have been taken away from me, or how I'm taking things away from myself or from others. Not necessarily stealing, because, well, I'm not in the habit of stealing anything, but we as humans sometimes unconsciously take away from others either their peace of mind, either we take their love, we take their worry away, we take their sadness away, we take their happiness away. There's a lot of things that we as humans do unconsciously. With the Seven of Swords, in this case, for daily draw, in the middle of the afternoon, I would probably wonder to myself, has anything important been taken away from me throughout this day that I need to pay attention to better? Have I been able to manage time in the best way? Have I been able to manage my interaction with other people, in the best way for me, in the best way for others? What has been taken away? Or what have I taken away from others that I should probably look into it? Usually with the Seven of Swords, whenever I get this card for a daily draw, is to do with my peace of mind. So I'm probably going through a process of concern and worry. So I would probably think to myself, okay, so my plenitude, my peace of mind has been affected today. Moving on, I will do my best to manage this better in X way. Or, yes, unfortunately, I had an altercation with a person, and I probably removed this person's happiness or their peace of mind, or I didn't do my best in this confrontation, and this person was probably affected by it, by me. So moving on, I'm going to learn from this experience and trying to do my best not to make this happen for another person. Again, this is an example. I do feel like daily practice is very personal and it's very individualized for all of us. I do also feel like the meaning of the cards in daily draws are a little bit different. They feel different, and they turn out to be not obstacles, but I want to say they turn out to be in a different perspective than we're used to seeing the card. This is one of the reasons why I love doing daily draws, because me being so over analytical, I am able to focus on one thing that the card is making me feel, or what the card is making me provide in meaning. I want to give you guys another example. So let's say that I only have time to pull a card before bed. I already went through my day, and I mean, all of us are busy, right? So the only time that I have available for me is before bed. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to ruminate on it. Again, I'm not asking anything right now. This just should take you a couple of seconds, a minute or two of your day. And let's see what we get. We have the Ten of Swords. Okay, so I would probably feel that the day has been very difficult for me. Assuming that I am not familiar with the meaning of the card, if I get the Ten of Swords, I immediately know that this is not a pleasant situation. There is a woman that has been stabbed 10 times in the back, and she is contemplating the horizon, probably moving forward into a body of water where she is never going to come out of. Now, getting this before going to bed will probably make me wonder, how am I able to take what I've learned today, take what has happened today, and not make those mistakes into tomorrow? Or how is my experience during this day affecting me right now? How am I able to move on from that so that I can get a good night's sleep and I'll be able to wake up tomorrow and start a new day without the feeling of this Ten of Swords? I feel like getting this card before going to bed will probably worry or scare some people, especially if they're not very versed in meaning of the Ten of Swords. But in daily practice, for me, in my experience, I like daily practice so that I'm able to move forward from something, so that I'm able to try and go in the right direction. So if I get this Ten of Swords before bed, I'll probably think about what has happened during my day, and try to get at least the positive things that happen with the negative. What is good? What was good that happened during the day? In all of this, in all of the bad experience, in all of the negativity, how am I able to change that? I think that question would be very difficult for most of us, but for daily practice, I believe that if you are able to work on yourself and move forward with whatever situation that you guys are going through, it is a lot more rewarding, and it's a lot better, and it also strengthens your practice a lot. Sometimes we don't get really happy cards. Sometimes we get a card like this, like the Ten of Swords. But so going back to what I was trying to establish, it doesn't take very long to just contemplate on a card. You don't also have to make a really big deal of it like I have with the Ten of Swords, for example. It could be just, like I said before, it could be just the contemplation of this card. How is this card making me feel? if this card shows up for me in another reading, what are the possible meanings of this card? Is this card making sense right now with how I'm feeling, with what I'm doing, or with what I want to do? There's just so much potential with daily draws. But again, that is going the extra mile for what I intend for you guys to get from this video. The best thing that you guys can do to start daily draws is just to take a little bit of time, 30 seconds, a minute of your day, pick a card, and contemplate it. That is the only thing that needs to get done for now. As per some of the reading that I've done, because I'm a bookworm and I like to read, and I like to read a lot about habits, I do know that according to some books, I will actually link some habit books in the description below, but according to some experts, establishing a habit takes either like 30 to 90 days to establish a habit. So for some of us, it'll actually be a lot quicker than for others. For some of us, like myself, it took longer than that, to be perfectly honest with you. There were some days that I just really thought that I didn't have the time for it, and then I just did it before I got to bed. Now, I didn't write anything down the first time that I was doing this. I didn't write the card. I didn't write the date. I didn't try to do anything other than just pick a card every day and just get a feeling from it. Everything more than that, it's going the extra mile. It's amazing. It's great. But again, you don't have to. We're trying to establish a habit here. And also, one of the things that are mentioned in these books is that we start slow, we start easy, we start simple, and then after 30, 60, 90 days, we add something more. We need to be patient. Establishing a habit needs patience. And I know that it's difficult. It is, because right now, we really don't have time for anything. We need to create that time for ourselves so that we're able to do the things that we like. But baby steps, and the first step for a daily draw is just pick a card. Anytime in the day, nothing more, just picking a card, looking at it, contemplating, and then going about your day. That is it. I hope that this has been helpful, because it definitely was for me when I was starting. My daily practice has become incredibly important, and I think that as tarot readers is definitely one of the most important things that we can do, because it not only serves as our intuition developing, but it also serves as a grounding experience as well. So I think it's very important. It gives us the opportunity to get inspired with new meanings for the cards, and paying attention to throughout the day with the card in mind as to what the card was trying to tell us during that specific time. I hope that this is helpful again, guys. But thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments how you guys establish a habit, or if you have one, of daily draws. I'm happy to hear it, because the more you share, the more people are able to get ideas and tips. So thank you again, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye bye, YouTube.